My cousin, Linda, often remarked that her house possessed a character all its own, not in a frightening, ghostly fashion, but rather in a way that feels familiar, a touch disordered, and ultimately reassuring. It was the sort of home where one could shed their shoes, settle into a well-worn armchair that had likely experienced more vibrant times, and simply exhale. That is precisely what I required. At 52, life had presented its share of unexpected challenges. A divorce that, while amicable, still lingered with a hollow ache, and the children, now grown and flown, had left the nest in an unsettling silence. As soon as Linda extended her invitation for a weekend stay, while she and her husband Tom embarked on their anniversary getaway, I hastily packed my overnight bag, eager to seize the opportunity before she could even complete her thought. The house sat comfortably on a serene, tree-lined street, in a section of town that seemed to exist in a realm far removed from my own sterile suburb. A dead-end street? The atmosphere was distinct, laden with the fragrance of blossoming jasmine and the crispness of freshly mown grass. Within the space, the comforting, joyful disarray of Linda's existence welcomed me as if I were an old companion. Along the hallway, framed photographs of her two boys captured moments from their gap-toothed grins to their college graduations. Her youngest, Leo, remained in college, a detail that consistently stirred a hint of envy within me for the vibrant life that continued to swirl around her. My home resembled a museum, a testament to a life that had once flourished within its walls. The initial evening enveloped me in a serene embrace of solitude. As I wandered through Linda's garden, a vibrant tapestry of blossoms and wild herbs, I eventually found my way to the porch swing, where I nestled in with a glass of iced tea and a book that had long awaited my attention. The sun sank beneath the horizon, casting the sky in shades of orange and purple, and for the first time in what felt like ages, a profound sense of tranquility enveloped me. Linda had left a lasagna in the fridge, and I found myself devouring it while standing at the kitchen counter, experiencing an odd sense of liberation in the uncomplicated choice of foregoing a table for one. Later, ensconced in a warm Afghan on the sofa, I turned the pages. Vintage photo collections, a wistful exploration of the memories we crafted together in our formative years. Silence enveloped the house, punctuated only by the soft hum of the refrigerator and the sporadic creak of the aged floorboards. It was a soothing hush, unlike the void I had grown accustomed to. A wave of gratitude washed over me for Linda, for the sanctuary she had provided. As I finally arrived at the guest room, I found it to be a snug haven nestled at the rear of the house, offering a delightful view of the garden. The bed was draped in a meticulously crafted quilt, while the fragrance of lavender lingered softly in the atmosphere. As I surrendered to slumber, a sense of ease enveloped me, a rare comfort brought forth by the soothing serenade of crickets serenading the night beyond my window. It was surely well beyond the stroke of midnight when I was roused from my slumber. It was not a cacophony, but rather a delicate alteration in the ambience of the house, a gentle thud emanating from downstairs, succeeded by the soft click of a door. Linda and Tom immediately came to mind. It was possible they might return sooner than expected. Yet, I soon caught the sound of footsteps approaching. The stairs ascended with a deliberate pace, lacking the frantic footsteps of one eager to return home. A shiver of apprehension coursed through me. In the end, solitude enveloped me within the confines of the house. I propped myself up in bed, my heart racing with an undeniable urgency. The footsteps ceased just beyond my threshold. I suspended my breath, my ears attuned to the silence enveloping me in the shadows. Then the doorknob began to turn slowly, almost with a sense of hesitation. My thoughts sprinted through a myriad of chaotic possibilities. A trespasser? A neighbor in distress? The door groaned as it swung ajar, revealing a tall figure that loomed in the doorway, illuminated only by the faint glow of the hallway behind. My breath caught in my throat. He stood tall, towering over my recollections from the Christmas card photos. The gentle illumination from the hallway enveloped his face in a dance of shadows, yet I could discern the unmistakable dark, curly hair and the determined line of his jaw, reminiscent of his father's features. He had yet to lay eyes on me. His eyes were fixed on the ground, as though he were striving to remain utterly silent. With a tentative footfall, he entered the room, revealing a duffel bag clutched in his grasp. In that moment, it dawned on me that he had returned from college for the weekend, blissfully ignorant of the fact that the guest room was already taken. My initial fear transformed into a surge of an indescribable sensation, elusive and unfamiliar. A curious blend of astonishment washed over me, accompanied by a sharp, vivid realization of my own existence within this close-knit family setting. At last, he raised his gaze, and our eyes locked in the soft shadows of the dimly lit room. I observed the sudden spark of recognition in his eyes, quickly followed by a wave of embarrassment that the shadows failed to conceal. "Aunt Sarah," he murmured, his voice a deep, husky whisper that resonated more profoundly than I had anticipated. "What brings you here?" Initially, my voice felt somewhat unsteady. "Leo, you nearly gave me a heart attack." I aimed for a playful tone, yet my heart continued to flutter softly against my ribs. A gradual smile unfurled on his lips, a delightful, crooked grin that instantly brought to mind a much younger Leo, the one who used to trail behind me like a shadow during family gatherings. "I'm truly sorry," he said, stepping back slightly, as if to grant me some distance. "I was unaware that anyone else was present. My parents kept it from me. They embarked on a quaint journey." I elaborated, tugging the quilt up a notch. "I'm merely tending to a house for the weekend." He nodded, remaining in the doorway, a portrait of youthful vitality, even in his quietude. Clad in a plain t-shirt and jeans, he presented a striking image of maturity that caught my attention. The slender youth etched in my recollections had transformed into a young man, his broad shoulders exuding a quiet confidence that spoke volumes. "Well," he remarked, a trace of amusement dancing in his voice, "this situation feels somewhat uncomfortable." A soft, genuine laugh escaped me, a warm sound that effortlessly shattered the tension hanging in the air. "Merely a touch." He adjusted his stance, and the duffel bag he carried made a gentle thud against the doorframe. "I intended to settle in for the night here. I have an early class on Monday, and I prefer not to make the long drive back tomorrow." "Certainly," I replied hastily. "This is indeed your room." With a gentle motion, I began to swing my legs out of the warm embrace of the bed. "The sofa is within my reach." "Negative." "No," he protested at once, stepping forward into the room. "Do not be foolish. The sofa is within my reach. I have pondered it endlessly." We lingered for a moment, caught in an unusual standoff beneath the cloak of night. The atmosphere was laden with a silent courtesy, a mutual recognition of the unforeseen nature of the circumstances. Yet, beneath the surface, there was another feeling stirring within me, a bond, a glimmer of the known, intertwined with the novel. It was in the way he gazed at me, not merely as his aunt, but as an individual, a woman. In that instant, I caught a glimpse of my younger self mirrored in his gaze, a poignant reminder of an era when life brimmed with endless possibilities. "Let me share something with you," I said, as a sudden thought took shape in my mind. "The bed is spacious enough for two, provided that snoring is kept at bay." A look of astonishment transformed his youthful features into a radiant smile. "Agreed. However, I cannot guarantee anything." He set his duffel bag down by the door and made his way to the far side of the bed. As he settled into the chair, the mattress creaked beneath him, dipped, and in that moment his closeness became strikingly apparent. The aroma of him, a fresh and distinctly masculine blend of soap and an essence that was entirely his, enveloped the intimate space separating us. I moved aside, creating space for him, my heart performing a small dance that was no longer tethered to fear. He was merely a boy, I reminded myself, the son of my cousin. Yet, within the serene embrace of that moonlit chamber, he sensed he was something far greater. He embodied a life in the midst of its evolution, a narrative that was only just taking shape. For a fleeting moment, I sensed that I belonged to it all. He nestled into the bed next to me. The distance that separates us crackles with an unspoken intensity. It wasn't unpleasant, yet it lingered, a palpable consciousness of another individual in a manner I hadn't felt in quite some time. For a brief moment, we remained there, gazing up at the ceiling, the only sounds being the soft hum of the house and the rhythm of our own quiet breaths. His voice slipped through the shadows, a low murmur that lingered in the darkness. "How have you been, dear Aunt Sarah? Is that so?" The inquiry lingered, unassuming yet deeply significant. It transcended mere politeness, delving deeper beneath the surface. "How do you fare?" I had grown accustomed to. His tone carried a sincere curiosity, a profoundness that caught me off guard. I shifted my gaze on the pillow to meet his eyes. In the dim glow seeping through the window, I caught a glimpse of the sincere expression etched on his face. "I've been all right," I confessed, the term feeling insufficient. "Life has taken on a certain stillness of late." He nodded, a contemplative expression gracing his features. "My mother shared the news of the divorce with me. I apologize." "It was for the greater good," I remarked. To my astonishment, the words resonated with an undeniable truth. "It seems we simply drifted apart. Wouldn't you agree?" "I believe so," he replied, his eyes momentarily drifting into the distance. "I occasionally observe it in the company of my friends' parents. It seems as though they inhabit the same dwelling, yet exist in entirely separate realms." His keen perception took me by surprise. Though he was youthful, there was a depth to him that belied his years. We conversed for what seemed like an eternity, our voices mere whispers in the stillness of the night. He shared with me the details of his classes, his fervor for photography, and his aspirations to explore the globe. I discovered that I was revealing parts of myself to him that I had never shared with anyone before, not even with Linda. I shared with him the profound emptiness that enveloped my home, the sense of being adrift now that my identity as a mother had transformed. He listened with unwavering patience, his presence serving as a soothing anchor amidst the shadows. In his gaze, there was no judgment, only a serene understanding that eased a part of my soul I hadn't realized was in pain. He articulated his personal doubts, the weight of expectation to have everything sorted, the anxiety of potentially making misguided decisions. In that moment of shared vulnerability, a bond emerged, an unseen thread weaving together two souls standing at the crossroads of their lives. Eventually, his hand brushed against mine in the void that lay between us. What began as a simple, innocent gesture ignited a surge of warmth within me. His fingers, elongated and cool, intertwined with mine effortlessly, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. It lacked the flair of romance, yet it was profoundly intimate, a wordless recognition of the bond we had crafted in the stillness of the night. In that moment, I understood that this unforeseen meeting transcended mere awkwardness. It was a treasure, a testament to the notion that life still harbors unexpected delights, that fresh bonds can blossom in the most unforeseen corners. A soft whisper from the cosmos, reminding me that my narrative was far from complete, that there remained pages yet to be filled. As the initial whispers of dawn started to brighten the horizon, our dialogue faded into a serene stillness. He continued to hold my hand, his thumb softly caressing the back of mine. A deep tranquility washed over me, a satisfaction that had eluded my existence for far too long. "Don't you think?" he murmured, his voice heavy with slumber. "You are more than merely my Aunt Sarah. You possess a remarkable coolness that is truly admirable." A smile graced my lips. "You're quite impressive in your own right, Leo." He gently squeezed my hand before withdrawing and turning onto his side, presenting his back to me. As he surrendered to slumber, I observed the soft undulation of his shoulders, a serene rhythm that spoke of tranquility. I lingered in wakefulness a bit longer, as the initial beams of the morning sun poured a golden hue into the room. A wave of renewal washed over me, bringing with it a serene joy that felt both fresh and comfortably known. The evening commenced with an unforeseen disruption, a flicker of trepidation and doubt, yet it unfurled into something exquisite, something I understood I would hold dear for years to come. It served as a poignant reminder that within the stillest recesses of our existence, the deepest bonds can form, and that often, the most unforeseen paths guide us precisely to our destined place. With my eyes gently shut and a sincere smile gracing my lips, I found myself, for the first time in ages, anticipating the day that lay before me. I awoke to the enticing aroma of coffee, not the instant variety I typically brewed at home, but the deep, fragrant essence of freshly ground beans. The opposite side of the bed lay vacant, the sheets cool against my fingertips. For a fleeting instant, I questioned whether the entire experience had been a figment of my imagination. The soft whispers exchanged, the raw openness between us, the tender brush of his hand against mine. Yet, my gaze fell upon his duffel bag, lingering by the door, and a delicate folded note resting on the bedside table. I grasped it, a flutter of excitement stirring within my heart. The handwriting danced across the page, a vibrant scrawl brimming with youthful exuberance and distinct personality. Aunt Sarah, it said, has gone for a run. The coffee is brewing, so feel free to serve yourself. Our conversation last night was truly enjoyable. As I thought of Leo, a smile blossomed on my face. Everything unfolded with undeniable authenticity. I emerged from my slumber with a buoyancy I hadn't experienced in ages. With a gentle rustle, I donned my robe and made my way down the stairs, my footsteps soft against the floor as I approached the kitchen. The house basked in the gentle embrace of morning light, while the rich aroma of coffee enveloped the space, intensifying its presence. A pot simmered gently on the counter, accompanied by a pristine mug, waiting patiently for my touch. I filled my cup and savored a sip, the deep, dark brew providing a delightful awakening to my senses. I rested against the counter, gazing through the kitchen window at the lush greenery of Linda's garden. This morning, the world appeared to shine with a renewed brightness, brimming with potential. The front door creaked open and then shut, the echo of footsteps trailing behind it. A moment later, Leo emerged in the kitchen doorway, his face aglow from his run, a delicate sheen of sweat gracing his brow. Clad in shorts and a t-shirt, he radiated an even greater vibrancy and vitality under the bright daylight. "Morning," he said, his voice lingering with a hint of breathlessness. He offered me that familiar lopsided grin that had captivated me the previous evening. "Good morning," I responded, my tone inviting. "I appreciate the coffee. It is utterly delightful." "No problem," he said, reaching for a glass in the cupboard and letting the cool water flow from the tap into it. He swallowed it in a single, swift motion, his Adam's apple rising and falling with the effort. We lingered in a serene silence for a moment, the effortless bond of the previous night still echoing between us. Being here with him in the tranquil morning kitchen felt like second nature. It resonated with the essence of home, not merely the hollow structure I inhabited, but a genuine sanctuary brimming with vitality, warmth, and the hopeful anticipation of a fresh dawn. He leaned against the opposite counter and said, "What do you have in store for today? Please, feel free to proceed without my interference." I confessed that I had no plans. I intended to immerse myself in a good book and unwind. "It sounds pleasant," he remarked, "but perhaps a touch dull. Wouldn't you agree?" I arched an eyebrow. "What counsel do you offer, O sage?" He let out a hearty laugh, a warm resonance that enveloped the kitchen. "Well," he said, a playful sparkle dancing in his eyes, I found myself contemplating a drive. There exists a quaint little town nestled along the coast, just an hour's journey from here. The establishment boasts a charming diner, renowned for serving the finest milkshakes you could ever imagine. He halted, his eyes locking onto mine. "Would you care to join me?" The invitation lingered, a vivid, unforeseen opportunity amidst the stillness of my tranquil weekend. A fragment of my being, the pragmatic 52-year-old segment, yearned to utter a firm no. It felt excessively spontaneous, strikingly uncharacteristic. Yet, there existed another facet of my being, one that had lain in slumber for far too long, craving an adventure, however modest it may be. "I'm not quite sure," I replied, my voice tinged with uncertainty. "Come on," he urged, his tone soft and inviting. "Promises to be an enjoyable experience. We can engage in further conversation. I long to immerse myself in more of your tales." In an instant, I found myself captivated. The idea of passing the day in his company, of prolonging our dialogue, of merely existing in his lively presence, was an allure too strong to ignore. "Very well," I replied, a grin blossoming on my lips. "You're in, but the milkshakes are on you." "Deal," he said, a broader grin spreading across his face. The day unfolded in ways I had only dreamed of, surpassing all my expectations. With the windows rolled down, we cruised along, the wind tousling our hair as we belted out tunes from the classic rock station playing on the radio. He navigated the roads with skill, exuding a calm assurance that put me at ease. We engaged in conversation and shared laughter, the dialogue unfolding as effortlessly as it had the previous evening. He shared with me the depths of his photography, his fervor for seizing the beauty found in the mundane moments of life. I found myself sharing with him the dreams I had long neglected, the aspirations I had put on hold to embrace the roles of a mother and a wife. The small town exuded a charm that matched his vivid descriptions, adorned with its picturesque shops and welcoming smiles. We enjoyed our lunch at the diner, where the milkshakes proved to be the finest I had ever savored. As we strolled along the beach, the waves thundered against the shore, and the invigorating scent of salt filled the air. He captured images of it all. The way the light danced upon the water, the intricate patterns etched in the sand, the joyful lines that framed my eyes. In the way he gazed at me through the lens of his camera, I discovered a fresh perspective, not as a middle-aged woman whose prime had faded, but as a vibrant individual, a woman brimming with life, a woman whose narrative was deserving of being shared. As we journeyed home in the waning light of the day, the sun stretched its rays, creating elongated shadows that danced upon the pavement, and a soothing quiet enveloped us. The stillness enveloped them, rich with a mutual comprehension, a profound and unvoiced bond. A wave of gratitude washed over me, so deep it nearly brought tears to my eyes. This weekend, initially conceived as a mere respite from my tranquil existence, evolved into an experience far beyond my expectations. The experience unfolded as a profound exploration of the self, a gentle nudge towards recognizing the joy and beauty that often lie hidden in the most surprising corners of life. It was entirely due to the boy beside me, the one with the ancient wisdom in his eyes and the crooked smile, who had entered my world in the most unforeseen manner. Upon our return to the house, the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting the sky in a breathtaking tapestry of fiery oranges and deep reds. We lingered on the porch, captivated by the fading hues, both reluctant to let the day slip away. "Thank you, Leo," I murmured, my voice gentle, "for this day, for all that it encompasses." He faced me, his demeanor grave. "Thank you, Aunt Sarah," he expressed. "This was truly essential for me." In that instant, clarity washed over me. In our individual wanderings, we had each felt a sense of disorientation, yet in the discovery of one another, we unearthed fragments of our own identities. As the weekend drew to a close, I felt certain that the bond we had forged would endure through the years. The connection was crafted in the hushed embrace of darkness, a relationship built on mutual admiration and a collective voyage of self-exploration. As I lingered in that moment, observing the final whispers of sunlight retreating beneath the horizon, a profound realization settled within me. My own narrative was just beginning. Indeed, it seemed as though it was merely the start.